Derek. So I'm in your app. I've created a new page called Drawio. I've created a new data type called Drawio. I mean, obviously you'll probably be storing these diagrams in an artifact, I imagine. But basically when you have a diagram, all a diagram really consists of is some SVG content. So SVG is a format for vector images, serial vector graphics. So this is a drop down of the things in the Drawio table. There isn't anyone in there. Test this. Off to the side here is the start save buttons. So we've saved it. And now there's one in the database because we've saved this one. I want to make a new one. It's just so we can check. I'll make a new one. Start 2. And I'll press save. You don't need these pop-ups, these toasters. You don't need them. So now there's 3 things in the database. But if I go and open one of the previous documents, open, and so basically we're saving and creating new documents. The way that's working is when there's a save event in this plugin, in this stuff here, save as exit, when there are those things happening, that makes a it effectively has a click. It creates this save event, so it makes this click. It does that notifier. That's just so I know it's working. Then we, well, if it exists, then if we can find it, because we pass the unique ID, so we can use that to search, and then we can update it, or we create a new one. So how this works, just implement it whatever makes sense to you. Do you want to be creating new ones, editing old ones, saving versions? This is just how you implement your Bubble app. When you do open, it takes some content of the SVG and it takes the unique ID. The unique ID is there so that you can save it when it comes back into here. And starting a new one is just, you start with some default SVG, and what would be really interesting, which you could do, is you could dynamically write this stuff in here. Start XXXXX. So I could put some dynamic data in there and then start a dynamic thing. So when I go start now, it'll be XXX in here. So if you were making a really interesting idea, is you could make initial diagrams populated for a user. You know, if you had a default template document, you could put in a whole lot of pre-filled fields for the user, and then they could edit it. So that's it. It's quite funky how all this works, because this is in an iframe, and the iframe is talking to the plugin, which is talking to Bubble, and so that's quite neat. But basically, this all just works the way you'd expect Drawio to work. So now this is auto-saving, by the way. You might want to not have auto-saving, so you might have a feature. If you didn't want it to auto-save, you could build it into the plugin, but it would be simple as going here. If it was auto-saving off, you wouldn't make these changes. You'd say only when, you'd have only when and autosave equals on. And you don't need this number of times edited. I just did it because it's really interesting to see. And look at the data. seems to be empty. Doesn't matter. But I think this is kind of the basics of what. Just press save over here. And obviously you could give these names. So if you gave them, you'd do this in your bubble app and you would give them more names. Let's just see if this works. Let's have a look. Yeah, here it is here. Cool. So many match you can do. I think it works really beautifully. I really love it.